It's Hate Texas week, so of course we're gonna get on here and we're gonna hate Texas here on the Sooner or Later Sports Show, a Hog Media production. That's your boy Coop. I am Jay. Thanks for pulling up here on the YouTube channel and listening wherever podcasts are downloaded and listened to while you're here. Please wipe your feet, like, subscribe, rate, review, and give us 5 stars. You don't think we deserve it? Go ahead and give us 5 anyway and gift it. So on today's episode of the Sooner or Later Sports Show, we've got a lot of stuff that we need to cover going into this weekend, like Red River Shootout. Big question is John Mateer making that comeback? We now also got to talk about what players we need to keep our eyes on and who we think is going to show out. And we'll do some numbers comparisons because you know me, I'm a numbers guy. Coop has become a numbers guy. And so we're going to dive into each and every bit of that. What's good, everybody? Coop, happy Wednesday, my guy. How's it going?
Hey, it's good, Jay. And then, yes, if you're wondering where are we doing the podcast from, Jay is on location while we're both inside. We do the podcast from the air conditioning because we now have air conditioning in our homes. And so that's why we're doing it from inside. But feeling good, Jay, because...
Do it from inside? You know, inside where? What are you talking about?
Indoors.
Oh.
You know, like BV had practice indoor because they have...
Fair point. That is a fair point. Didn't realize we need to clarify that. You are right. People don't understand that. We do it inside because we have air conditioning on the inside now, which is always a big plus. I like air conditioning. You like air conditioning? Because I like air conditioning a lot. I'm
not a big... let's go out and just sweat just sitting and not doing anything type of a person. I'm more of a winter guy. And so that's kind of, really? As soon as like this morning you get outside and you're like, man, I kind of need a sweater. That's like, that hits home.
Yeah, I can understand that. I'm kind of I like my lights to, you know, I like cool air blowing in my face when it's hot outside because Oklahoma, it's hot. It is October, and it used to be cold back in the day in October. So
I used surprised to. That, it's global warming. It's global warming. We'll talk something about that on a different show.
Exactly. But no, hey, thank y'all for pulling up per the usual. Hit the like button, new to the channel, subscribe. Rate, review, give us 5. We got so many things to talk about. Shout out to our partner Sleeper, sponsoring the channel. If you're not checking them out for daily fantasy football, you are missing out. Use our promo code UNFAIR. They're going to hook you up, match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they're going to give you $20 just for signing up. So help us out. Use our code. Make the magic happen. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Coop. I think we should lead off with that conversation. It's probably the most important one here, is that Brent Venables talked about this at his presser tonight. Understand, folks, there will probably be another video come out later on because it's not going to happen while we're here unless, Coop, you want to go to secsports.com real quick and see if you see something. I'm going to check as well. But tonight, we get the first initial injury report, availability report for this game. And as I'm pulling up on my laptop, as Coop mentioned, we're on site. I think Radosevich is still in the bushes to try to see if John Mateer is walking around with a brace or not. Coop, what are you seeing floating around in this John Mateer piece? Because I have some thoughts.
Well, it all started in the post game after Kent State. I think Brent Venables said something to the extent of, you know, I don't expect to see for John Mateer to be available this next week. And then there was the issues about practicing indoors, hence the opening joke that, you know, are you hiding something? Is it gamesmanship? But we then had the Pete Nakos saying that he's going to, I believe it was Nakos, right? Said he's going to give it a...
no, it was a Pete Damel. Damel from ESPN is the one that told us that.
It was a Pete. I got Pete right. So
Pete repeat.
Yeah, there we go. We made the same joke at the same time. But yeah, it's
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
That's there we are. But you know, he came out and said he's going to try to give it a go this week. And you know, now there's you know, as Kaysen said here, you know, Scoop said that on their pod he's been throwing all week. So what is out there? You know, Jay, you and I, we don't try to be the breakers of news. There was a plan in place from the very, very get-go. as soon as Sunday after Auburn hit, and I'm sure that we'll be privy to that plan at some point. But part of it's gamesmanship. Part of it is, can you get John ready to play? Because obviously he is your best opportunity to put a top-notch product out there.
Yep.
And though I do think that Hawk offers a lot of good stuff. I think everybody's a little agitated with how the offense went last week. But, this is we'll get into it when we break down, the both sides of the ball. But, man, I just really, really feel that we will all find out probably Saturday around 1:30ish Central Time Zone if John's playing or not.
Yeah, I'm thinking that is most likely going to he's going to end up playing in this game. I've said it numerous times. The way the smoke is going, it feels like we're that direction. But you're right. Pete Thamel from ESPN gave us the report that he's hearing that he's working towards to get there. He's doing everything possible to be prepared to play. Then from there, you saw Matt Zenith from CBS Sports and Josh Calloway from Sooners Illustrated went on there to talk as well. He went in there and recorded a video with them or whatnot, but they talked about it of there's possibility, there's rumors, there's a maybe, blah, blah, blah. So it's been so much all over the place in regards to, okay, it looks like he's pushing to do it. Well, I don't know if he's real. It feels like all smoke and mirrors. And so I'm just going to take that as he's most likely going to play. As long as he practiced today and tomorrow, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, which is, I think that's typically when they do the 1s and 2s. I'm going to say that I see us having John Mateer play. Now, like you said, Michael Hawkins is serviceable, and I think that he'd be fine this year having a bunch of receivers, having a more solidified, especially pass blocking offensive line. I think we will be good in that capacity. We'll just wait. So the availability report drops at 7:10 Central Time. So if you all stick around to the end, we'll make sure that we make it past 7 o'clock for the first drop. And I will share a screen and we will take a gander at what our availability report looks like. So roughly exactly, right there, Zach, exactly. We're exactly 60 minutes away from the first availability report of the week. And to me, today's, of course, isn't going to be as important as Friday's, but I think today gives us a glimpse of an idea of where the team is going with this.
And, Jay, I want to touch base on something because when you're doing the availability report, I know that there's a lot of conversation around can you list him as doubtful and then him turn around and play on Saturday. And from my understanding, that's you cannot. So because I originally said something along the lines of, let's do a doubtful, questionable game time decision. But these things are legitimate. They're serious in the SEC. You can't be playing games with those things, and so he's probably going to be listed as questionable. Last thing you want to do is have somebody from the SEC office paying attention to your injury reports week in and week out, with a microscope. So, but yeah, if you guys are hopping in here, Jay, I'm with you. I think John Mateer's playing. I think that's been the plan from the get-go. And if anything, I mean, you get that rallying cry from the rest of the team of like, hey, listen, see what your leader is doing out here. Like, he went above and beyond to make this happen. There's also a little bit of an element of, once he was ready to say he did started throwing on Sunday or Monday, like, I don't expect for him to be out there in contact situations up to that point. And my last point, Jay, is we always hear about the scout team. This guy did this for the scout team. So Venable's quotation around he's not done any good on good yet, I don't think you do that early in the week. You run through some of those things, so I don't think that there's much good on good going on. And so we're looking for a lot of continuation going on. We've had an injury. Shout out Mr. Blaylock's in the house. When Torrey had his situation, was he going to play? And now, obviously we've got Keontez Lewis. Jay, that guy's going to try to go play this weekend. if you ask me too. This team wants to go out there. This is important because they have goals. This week's goal is Texas.
Yeah, and that's the thing is understood of why. And I understand. I hear you all in the comments. I'm totally agreeing with the mindset of we need to protect John from himself because it's more important to make a college football playoff potentially or to play an SEC championship game, etc., rather than sacrifice for this one game.
Yeah.
But the other issue with that logic is we have to understand this is the reason why people come to Oklahoma. Is playing this game.
Yeah.
This is the game that they care about. Like I saw the report earlier today, something about, I guess we reached out to Oklahoma State about bringing Bedlam back. And they were just kind of like, I don't know. On the football side, kids don't come here to play in Bedlam. They come here to play in Red River. That's the game. Yeah. Going to Dallas, seeing the 50-50 split, seeing all of that. And John mentioned that himself. So, yes, we'll protect him from himself, but if the doctors clear him, dude's going to play. Remember, we are already at the point of the season where everybody's banged up in some capacity. Nothing you can do about it. He could be 100% going into the South Carolina game and he hit his hand again, he gets hurt. You can't do anything about that. We are at that point where dings and bumps and bruises exist. So it's all about pain tolerance. Same thing with like Torrey Blaylock. Remember, he hurt his shoulder. And we was wondering if he was going to be able to play, and then he's been playing. It's more of a pain tolerance, and it's just you're at the point now where, especially because we have this 5-game stretch, until we get that bye week before Bama, everybody going to be banged and bruised up all the way to that game, and I'm okay with that. I think we'll be fine. So with that being said, as long as Mateer is able to throw, in which the thumb helps to grip, the fingers are the ones that control really the throw and the spin. As long as he feel comfortable with that, put him in the game. I'm here for it.
And from what I'm understanding about the surgery, again, everybody becomes, expert meteorologist when it's weather-wise. Everybody, turns into, licensed practitioner or physician. I don't know if I said that dead wrong, so Boomer's going to go off on me right there. But from my understanding of this is he's not going to be able to go out and hurt that thing anymore. It's just going to be extremely painful, and that might affect him. So if John Mateer is going to go out on the field, I'm going to tell you guys one thing. If he goes out on the field, he's going to play like he played against Michigan. Are you going to tell John, like, hey, listen, let's not do anything, too crazy when we're running around? Everybody's going to know, I don't think that anybody's going to be targeting the hand or anything like that. But I do know this. He can't hurt this thing anymore. At this point, if there's screws in the bone, those things have acclimated already. I mean, we saw 2 different scenarios in the past 2 years with quarterbacks, hurting their hand and getting the surgery and being back. One was Jared Goff and the other one was the Rourke kid. And so, still younger, in the age. And so that body heals a lot quicker.
And that's a good question. Who's going to stop a football player from stepping on his hand? Chuck, nobody. Nobody's going to be able to stop it. Can't do anything about that. It's football. They're going to step on his hand even if he wasn't hurt. I mean, if they got opportunity to, they're going to do it. They're going to go after. If a player's got an injured spot, players targeted in a way. That's gamesmanship, unfortunately. Make you uncomfortable, make you not want to play. So all we can do is just hope that people have some sort of integrity and try to win. But at the same time, remember, Texas is on the struggle bus too. They've been dealing with some things themselves. So we'll talk about them, of course. We'll break that down. But outside of Mateer, truth be told, I think I'm still fine with Hawkins. Like, I know some of you aren't. I think that Arbuckle can put together an offensive set that will help us, especially because if he's healthy and he's the one that plays, then the defense will do most of the work for us regardless of who's playing. That's why the over-under number is at like 42 or 43. It's going up now, actually. People are starting to bet that over and move it up. Actually, most of the bets on the under, and it's moving up points. So I think this game may end up having more points than anticipated, but this is going to be a defensive battle, and I'm here for it. Like, this is something that we've all been excited about, is seeing a defensive battle between us and Texas. I mean, it may end up like that 12-0 game when we shut down Vince Young. Like, I'm okay with that. This defense is just that ridiculous. And we'll look at the advanced metrics because on the advanced side, we should dominate for the most part, Coop, when I look at it.
Yeah.
There's no excuse not to. Truth be told.
Again, we can get into this a little bit deeper, but it is. You've got a team who's coming in and they know what they're about to go up against on the defensive side. Florida got after them on with their defense, and Florida had some. We'll get, like you said, get in the stats, but Florida had some of their season highs on offense.
They did,
and that's an offense where DJ Lagway is throwing for like 60 yards in a game.
Nope.
So that's where
That's
where I'm super confident. It didn't matter if it was going to be Hawk or if it was going to be John, but it is going to be really, really crazy when you get that announcement. And I think I've got a little bit of a tinfoil hat, conspiracy too, Jay. John hurts his hand. John hurts his hand. All of a sudden, some of the Heisman, people are like, well, he's kind of out of it. Just the way everything was handled by the university with, the university coming out and saying he was due the surgery. I mean, seconds later, ESPN is on it. And typically you don't see ESPN that quick when it's something like that. It may be 10, 15 minutes later, but ESPN was right on it. And then you get with Thamel coming back in and saying, hey, he's going to try to give it a shot. I think the university is handling this in a way that puts the spotlight right back on to John Mateer, creating a story for this Heisman, because I do believe that they think that he's going to be in New York, and they're trying to get the attention back on him because he didn't play during the bye week, obviously. Didn't play versus Kent State. And so that's 2 weeks where people got enamored with other quarterbacks and a lot of guys that were doing a really good job. But this kind of throws them right back in the middle of everything.
That's a very good point. Let's talk about that Heisman candidacy as well as what players we're definitely going to be looking out for before we jump into the Oklahoma-Texas advanced metrics. Let's pay some bills first. So, of course, we're going to shout out our partners over there at Sleeper. We appreciate them sponsoring the channel. If you're not checking them out for daily fantasy football, you are missing out. They've got all the best odds out there, best options. Basically, you pick 2 or more players, pick more or less on their stats, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. It's really that easy, making your game days into paydays. And so I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to look at some of the players and options that we have for coming up on Thursday. This is the cool thing is they give you a boost on a lot of the players. Asia Wilson, Jalen Hurts. I think I'm going to take that because that's a freebie. That's only half a yard. That's, of course, obviously not something that's, he's going to get more than half a yard because that's his game, right? Looking at some stuff for Thursday, I think I can take Wan'Dale Robinson and we don't want Sunday. We'll keep it on Thursday. I'll take Theo Johnson as well on an anytime touchdown. So pick 2 or more players, pick more or less on their stats. And like I said, there's so many different options in here you can choose for them. Shout out to Sleeper. Use our promo code UNFAIR. They're going to match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they're going to give you $20 just for signing up. All you got to do, terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. All right. We got our boy Coop. We're gonna get back to this. And let's talk about the Heisman campaign you went into, which I think is a very good point. Thank you for pulling up, hit the like button, new to the channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5. It does feel like, because of how this is going down with him and his injury, that there's a lean in on trying to use this storyline towards a Heisman conversation. I can see that. I can actually see that now. That makes sense.
what is going to continue conversation and talk. Oklahoma has such a recency, being part of the Heisman conversation. I mean, Baker was there, Jalen was there, Kyler was there. Caleb, even in the year where he came back in and led us to the OU Texas game, his name was tossed in there for the Heisman. And right now, I mean, just you look across college football in general, you don't have a clear that team. You don't have really anybody who is out there just really blowing the doors off on the Heisman race. And so I think, and this is any school's responsibility. Any school who has a candidate that they feel like has a legitimate shot, they're going to do this. So it's not us, playing with fire. This is us trying to draw attention to the university, trying to draw attention to yet another Ginn. Because you have Bo Bentley, you have Hawkins, we recently missed out on Peyton Houston. So we still need a quarterback in that 27-28 class as of right now, right? And so, on threes, Heisman poll has Ty Simpson up at the top.
Hey, Ty been balling. I'm not even going to. He
has been.
Ty been balling.
He has been. But John Mateer comes in after all this stuff. I mean, right now, they still have him as the number 5 behind. It's Ty Simpson and Dante Moore tied for first. Trinidad Chambliss, Ole Miss now, starting quarterback. Ahmad Hardy running back over at Missouri. John Mateer. You got a Ruben Bain and Carson Beck from Miami. So it's up for grabs. And John Mateer comes, plays, and balls out. Guess what happens? He's right back there at the top where he was right before getting hurt. Because, I mean, technically, he didn't do anything to get himself knocked off the top of the mountain. It's a hype train every week.
It is. Every single week. And, again, the Heisman really goes around stories unless you do, absurd statistics. And right now we don't have anybody throwing a whole bunch of absurd statistics out there. So for the most part, it is going to be it'll be whoever has the better storyline. And right now, John Mateer is putting together the best story in college football. And so, but yes, Caleb, we're going to show the availability report as soon as it launches. I've got the page here and I'm refreshing it every 20 minutes just to see if anything pops up. As soon as it drops at 7:10 Central Time, we will watch it. So stick around while we talk and ramble for y'all. We will definitely have that pop up on the screen for you. But yeah, no, it's the storyline is going to be the most important part. So going from there, though, Coop, as we looked at the storyline from him, we just saw that he's on the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award watch list.
Yeah.
That just got increased. That's just been added recently. OU just popped that tweet out. When you're looking at this game, as we prepare for it, who on the offensive side do you think can have a breakout game to help outside of your quarterbacks? And we're going to talk about Mateer or Hawkins, but who else do you think could have a breakout game going into this one?
I mean, we've been kind of withholding the flowers. I feel like we gave a little bit of them last week, but Isaiah Satania has proven that it's. I mean, he's the leader in the clubhouse as far as the best receiver on the team right now, and he also has the most video reviews in college football by an individual player. But I think that you see more of Isaiah Satania, and I was thinking about Satania just coming from Arkansas. Obviously, he's had a lot of SEC experience. He can affect the game in so many different ways. But right now, he's the guy who continues to be the look-to guy on offense from the wide receiver's perspective.
What's funny too, as you mentioned, Satania. Shout out to Ben Arbuckle. We have 2 receivers now, 2 people that have with receiving yards more than what we had at the max last season. So both Satania and Jerry Kanik have surpassed Bauer Sharp for the most yards. They both have over 324. Kanik's at 328, Satania's at 358, and I expect both of them to finish well over 500 this season. Thank goodness we got that. To me, flowers for Satania. He totally deserves it. I think this is the game where we get Burks to show out. And I say that because you pointed it out perfectly, Coop. Satanya's probably been the most reviewed wide receiver by officials in college football so far. It seems like every other catch he makes, they want to review it to make sure it wasn't bobbled or whatnot. But he has basically benefited from the attention that Deion Burks has taken in.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's now for Burks to go ahead and emerge as people are going to shift their attention because Satanya is taking advantage of it. If you're keying in on one dude and nobody takes advantage of it, then it's going to probably stay the same because they're being successful on defense. Well, Satanya's putting up numbers. Kanig's putting up numbers. They're going to have to respect both of them. This is going to open things up for not only Burks, but as they ramp up Giovanni Gibson. And I know I've seen some people in here populate. Understand that Giovanni, they're slowly bringing him in. Like he's on a snap count restriction. He had 24 snaps.
Yeah.
Against Kent State. He'll probably play more like closer to 30 to 35 snaps in this game, especially with being a physical game. They may have him stay around 20-something, but he's going to be ramping up over this 5-game stretch to the point where he's going a full game, possibly Tennessee to Alabama, right? That's something to keep in mind when it comes to how we're doing the wide receiver rotations. And that's, I really appreciate that. I'm glad that we're not going to rush him in, but we don't have to. That's the good thing. And like you said, Keontae Lewis, rumor has it he's going to try to play. Like he's been cleared for the most part. He's going to try to get out there. We'll find out on the availability report, which comes out in about 30 minutes. Will he go out there and play? Is he going to go out there and hit the field? It's like I said, it's on Burks to now take advantage of the fact that Satanya and Kanig's getting attention. And if you play carry on more, you got that as well. Defensive side of the ball, who's someone that you think is probably going to have a breakout game?
It's not going to be a breakout game, but it's going to be his. It's going to be his
another big
song.
Game.
The reason why dude came to Oklahoma, it's going to be Stone. It's going to be Stone. Texas's offensive line.
Cheeks, I tell you, cheeks.
It's struggle bus of a different level. And, so I saw the stat that Florida up to this point in the season had caused 35 quarterback pressures in their first 4 games. They got 36 against Texas last week.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. We got to look at that number. But that's true. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad for them right now. So bad.
I was looking through some other numbers, Jay, and I saw that there was a team that we're familiar with that's number 1 in quarterback pressures, sack rate, etc. And it all starts with blowing up the inside. And so, we've spoke about this defense getting to a point to where, I said it before the season. I said, I have a fear that we won't see a lot of OU guys as first-team All-SEC because I think it's so talented across the board that it's going to be hard to pick out. Like, last year you have a Danny Stutzman. In other defenses, you have that one guy, and that's where the SEC, you might see 2 or 3 from one single team. But, man, I was dead wrong because you've got so many guys in the middle. Like, if you got Jaden Jackson and Stone on the field at the same time, you can't – if you double-team one guy, the other guy's getting out. And then you get to throw out RMT on the outside. And then you get to throw either Marvin Jones or PJ on the other side. They have so many guys that they're going to have to deal with, and this offensive line has done an awful, awful job. And so I really think, Jay, that – if this ends up being a defensive battle, I don't think it's going to be. I think that this is going to be a clinic. And this is because I just don't see how that offense – and Jay, we've put 18 guys on the field, taken off the field because of injuries so far up to this season. Texas loses an offensive tackle. It's not good back there. It's really, really bad. They've got no depth anywhere.
Their left guard is really bad right now.
On one of the reports, they said you have to play him because you've got nobody else.
Oof, that hurts.
And so you're going to have and listen, Why is all the offensive line on our team a little dinged up all the time? Because that defensive line is a bunch of bad dudes. And if you, I don't know, say that you stand up a couple of the defensive linemen. I mean, it's not like Brent Venables doesn't throw exotic blitzes at you from God knows where, snap to snap. So I just think Stone is going to find himself. I'm going to say this. Do you remember that big hit? Who was it? Defensive end for South Carolina in the bowl game against Michigan. I want to say...
Yeah, Jadeveon Clowney.
Jadeveon Clowney. I bet we see one of those situations this week.
Think that we get a big hit like that.
You're going to see a situation where Stone or Jackson get to the exchange between the running back and the quarterback, and ball hits the turf.
Interesting. That's interesting. I maybe. I don't know. That's interesting. I do see Jaden Jackson, Stone, or Dom, or even Grayson Halton busting through the interior and getting to the quarterback a lot. I expect Manning to do a lot of scrambling. My question's going to be on this defense, and we'll look at the advanced numbers in just a minute, really is going to be what they're going to do to contain him from running around, because he's going to run around. We've seen him be able to do it. He's actually pretty good at it. The expectation is that he's going to do that. So if we're going to be successful in making sure our defense dominates their offense, got to make sure that dude ain't able to run around. Now, granted, the good thing, and this was mentioned before, I think it was Gabe Eichert mentioned it over Oklahoma Breakdown over on the weekend, is that he was impressed with David Stone's selflessness in how he will burst through the hole and create a wall on the side. But even while he's there, and I even talked this about John, whenever you watch me, if you ever tune in here and I'm watching film on a recruit, the motor thing is the one thing I look for the most. And the reason why I look at the motor is because that's what this staff is looking for. Why is this staff looking at motor? Because a dude like Stone can go past. Like there was a play on the In the Weeds you can go watch that Gabe and them did. He busted in, and the quarterback had nowhere to go. Like actually, he handed the ball off to the running back. He had nowhere to go. And even though Stone ran past him, he turned right back around. Yeah. Boom, took him out. So threw him right to the ground. And so that's what you want. You're hoping that your dude can you want a guy that's going to be focused on doing that. That's the thing that you get the most excited about.
And Jay, with Arch getting out and running, a lot of the time when you see Arch Manning or a running quarterback in general, when they actually cause damage, what happens is the ends overrush the quarterback. Right. Arch Manning's probably going to do a lot of three-step drops. I don't think I see, now here's another thing is Sarkisian likes to do a lot of those five-step drops. You get people spread out and then you get that big drop. I don't know if he can allow that to happen, because when that happens, you get the defensive edges rushing past, and the quarterback can step up in between the D tackles and the D ends.
Yep.
But when the defensive tackles are the ones that are blowing up the pocket and they're turning it into a U facing the wrong way, you still got the edges who are on the outside, and that's a harder getaway, especially when, RMT, he comes back in at halftime against Auburn. He's the one who ran down that big 35-yard run from the opposite side. So RMT can move, and RMT is going to match Arch Manning for speed. And so, that's it, is do you have that opportunity to run if you're Arch Manning? And how many times is he going to get blown up so quickly that he gets happy feet and he starts making bad decisions on those runnings? Yeah. That's what the defensive line can do to you.
That's exactly what it can do to you. And even adding to that, like that, and that's why we hyping this line up, because they're doing all of the little details that makes your team successful. I want to talk about another player that I feel like is going to be critical in this game. Probably one of the more critical players. and positions out there. Talk about that. First, pay this bill. Shout out to our partners over there at Sleeper. If you are not using them for daily fantasy sports, you're missing out. They've got season-long fantasy football, of course, but they also got daily fantasy. And so right now, new users, if you use our promo code UNFAIR, they're going to match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they're going to give you $20 just for signing up. And so they have like all the best odds out there or whatnot that you can use. Pick 2 or more players, pick more or less on their stats, and boom, you're in the game in like 60 seconds or less. So it's easy to do, fun to play. You can win up to 1,000 times your money if you know ball the way you claim you know ball. So check them out. Use our promo code UNFAIR. You will get a match on your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you $20 just for signing up as a new user. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. So, Coop, shout out to the people. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. Make that happen for the people. We are about 30-something minutes away before we get our availability report. I'm taking a gander in here. I just refreshed the screen. Nothing new has popped up for anybody. So it looks like everybody's at 7:10 p.m. Central Time on the availability site. So, again, we'll be locked in, and I'm going to have it shown on the screen of what's going down. But I was thinking about this yesterday. Me and John recorded for today's show, and we were talking about who really needs to have a big game. And now that I slept on it, this one to me is one. In chat, y'all let me know what y'all think on this. On the defensive side, who do you think needs to have a huge game in this one? And I'm going to tell you, I think it's Peyton Bowen. Let me explain why. Not only is Peyton Bowen going to be critical for our corners when it comes to watching out for if Ryan Wingo tries to go off and, get some end rounds or deep passes or whatnot, and Sark gets creative with that tight end Edries from Cal that decided to go to Texas instead of coming to Oklahoma. Those guys are going to be he's going to be trying to find ways to get them open and find ways for Art to get rid of the ball fast, specifically because he knows this defense is going to be in his face nonstop, right? Well, the other thing that I thought about when it came to Bowen is Billy Bowman had a big game the last, 3 years on this team in Red River. Like, he was that dude. He was everywhere. The interception last year, the hit on Sanders to get Kendall Dobie the interception in 23, right? Yeah. Billy Bowman was a critical component of this defense in that game. He was always all over the place. He's the ball hawk. He's all over the place. And so because of Peyton Bowen's athleticism and how good we know he is, and he's been showing us this year, like he's been stepping up. He's been giving us some stuff. I feel like he's going to be one of the more critical ones, even more than Robert Spears-Jennings, because his athleticism and his ability to know where the ball is going to be important to not only help his brother Eli when he's out there, Gentry as well as Cortland, because they're going to pick on one of those two in this game.
Yeah, and I saw somebody he's going to make up for that dropped interception.
Yes, right. He owes us for that. That was a pick six.
If I was watching the Denver. This is going to be a little roundabout way to get to my point here, but I was watching the Denver-Philadelphia game.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Denver and Philadelphia game, and they're talking about how Sean Payton has gone out and gotten a bunch of different wide receivers. None of these guys are top of the league type of guys, but they're all quality wide receivers, from Cortland Sutton to Mims to Franklin and out of Oregon. You've got a lot of these quality wide receivers, and he said they get you to a spot to where you are betting that my number 4 wide receiver is going to be better than your number 4 defensive back.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the things we may see a lot of this week is trying to put out 3 or 4 wide receivers out on the field and say, one of our guys is going to be better than one of yours. And, Cortland, he's played a great game. He's played super, super aggressive. Cam Coleman, he took him to school a little bit in the Auburn game. Gentry, we know who he is. Now Eli Bowen is back. And you still got, now you feel so good about that rotation just right then and there with those three. You've put Dolby back over at Cheetah because you don't need him playing corner anymore. So then you got Devon Jordan, Jacoby Johnson. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to get a lot of opportunity for Peyton Bowen to be sitting out there in center field. And any balls get tipped up in the air, get bobbled, he's going to have a chance to come clean it up or to make an interception. They're also going to blitz those safeties a lot. They're going to get that delayed blitz if Arch doesn't, if he shows his hand and it skirts out one way or the other. You're going to have one of the safeties coming down, whether that's Boganowski, Powers, Bowen, or RSJ. I think that the safeties are really, really going to play a big part in this, and I think that we see an opportunity for some good interceptions to come this week because these wide receivers from Texas, they haven't been really great at securing the ball.
Right, and Arch is also really bad at the short game. So, Monty, you're 100% right. He's very bad at the quick game, but we need him to.
Because you're not.
But they're going to have to do it though because the defensive line is going to be there. I mean, you watched Stone jump off and he be dang near in the backfield before the play start. We know it's going to happen, so they're going to have to find a way to give him time. So my anticipation is they've got to go into the short game. They've got to do the intermediate game. They got to get rid of the ball quickly. They got to do some swing passes to the running back, in which I hope they do. Then you may get your Jadeveon Clowney moment with Boganowski leveling the running back because they've got, two hurt ones? Boy, that would be so awful.
Don't threaten me with a good time. No, and listen, Oklahoma has been absolutely phenomenal at covering the screen game too. So if you're Sark, do you risk these 5-step drops and going for those deep crossers? Or do you put the ball in harm's way with a lot of traffic with the short game, and you know that Arch has thrown behind a lot of wide receivers. He has thrown high. So the name of the game for this defensive backfield, I guess you would say, is catch the ball when you get the opportunity.
Yes. Yeah. And our goal is going to be to get them interceptions. Yeah, there's going to be interceptions. There are going to be all kinds of opportunities for picks. So, but yeah, that's what I was thinking about when it came to Peyton, that I know that because we know Robert Spears-Jennings is going to get a few blitzes. BV's going to dial those up. He's going to dial up the pressure. He's going to make them work for it. And hopefully the pressure he throws on, he'll throw some facing pressure on Arch to where he has to immediately move, and then one of the linebackers is going to chase him for a hit, which is probably going to be Samuel Masigo. So to me, I'm going to be keeping an eye open. If I see Samuel on the field, I'm thinking they're probably going to send one of the safeties to make that dude run around and then have Sammy just chase him, which would be just glorious.
Or Daniels, or Kendall Daniels.
It's true. Kendall's so good at oh my God, he's so good at sacks, man. He's so good at getting in the backfield. Him and Reggie Powers. Reggie Powers have done a fantastic job. RP3 has done real good at whenever because as soon as he blitzes in, the quarterback's going to try to scramble past him. He doesn't over pursue. He does a great job of pursuing at the proper spot, which I have an 100% appreciation for. And man, we got good tacklers, man.
Guess whose responsibility it is to pick up those blitzing safeties? The running backs.
Yeah.
Dang near every single one of them are hurt.
Weisner's out. Weisner hurt his hammy again. He's probably not going to play. I actually anticipate – I think C.J. Baxter is still down.
Yeah.
It's
the Gibson
right
kid.
Now, dog.
Yeah.
I don't think Gibson's ready. I don't think they feel like he's ready. Let's put it that way.
It looks very 2024 Oklahoma.
It really does. It really feels like us. And it's like, hey, man, y'all laughed at us with our injuries, man. Whatever. Lee Bird dropped us $2. Thanks a bunch. Kanik needs to kick somebody again. I would love some Kung Fu Kanik flying through the air and taking some folks out. So let's go ahead.
Before we move on, who I can't believe it's going past me. I see he's number 38, OU Texas, had the leap. Oh my gosh!
Not Roy Williams. You talking about Roy Williams, the Superman?
No. The H back, fullback.
Oh, Trey Miller.
Maybe that's what Kanik was trying to do the first time, Yes, thank you, guys, appreciate it.
Yeah, it was Trey Miller. Yeah,
and again, they're going to
Muhammad. Yeah,
they're going to be without Malik Muhammad.
We think he's going to try to give it a go.
He's going to give it a go. He's going to try to give it a go. But
yeah,
but again,
availability report will tell us what we need to know. So yeah.
So you're going to want to force some of these injured guys to step up into conflict, and for their offensive guys, I mean, tell me, Jay, which one of these guys, which one of these defenders, especially the blitzing guys, which one of them do you really want to take on if you're already kind of dinged up?
I don't want none of them dudes hitting me personally. Them dudes can hit. Like, that's the one thing that we brought in, and I haven't and I think that's probably why also we kind of dinged up on offense, if you want me to be truthfully and be real honest with y'all. 100%. I mean, a public service announcement. I've mentioned this very often on this stream, and I want to make sure that y'all understand that that to play the brand of football that we want, the physicality that we prefer and we like, the type that we're seeing right now where we're bullying everybody, collateral damage is going to happen. You got to practice it on somebody, and unfortunately, it's usually our own players that hurt each other. So, but the good thing is our offensive line seems to be tougher as the game goes on. Like, it's funny because we'll talk about this now and go right into the analytics. So let's go ahead and make that transition, because I want to mention one thing from our favorite national guy, Josh Pate, and I want to dive into these analytics, these advanced numbers. So thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. New to the channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. Coop, here, Pate was talking about this game, and in Pate's mind set of was he talked about the struggles with both O-lines and how we don't really run the ball, blah, 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 right? And he's wondering how it's going to look late. And I think this is the one thing that was overlooked, has been overlooked by a lot. Those final drives that we did against Michigan, the 8-minute drive to close that game out, get the score, the 2-minute drive we did with John Mateer, where he had literally all day long to not only throw but also run. That to me is a testament of the toughness of this squad, that when you get deep into the game, they get tougher. Like my guy for over there at the War Report, my boy Ike, he said that when we was talking about this game and talking about when we was going to play Auburn, and that was what he said. He's like, that's the one thing I noticed about y'all in these first few games was y'all may struggle in the beginning, but fourth quarter, that line locks in, and you see the push, right? Now, we didn't see it against Kent State because everybody lost interest. They're like, dog, this game, can we get this game over with? It's 44-0. Can we just go home? Can we have a mercy rule? But you did see it in Michigan, who has a very solid line. You saw it against Auburn in that final drive, and then the defense took over to end it in the last 5 minutes. That's the thing to me that I feel like a lot of the national folks aren't truly looking at. Because that 8-minute drive against Michigan was huge. Barnes was getting running yards. Mateer was getting – like, that was when we was like, hey, man, how did Javonte Barnes get in that hole? Like, how did that happen? That's what you saw out of this team. They pick up as the game progresses. Just go watch the last parts of those games. You can be like, dang, where does O-line come from? I just don't know why they don't start that way.
It's just kind of the offense in general. Seems to be like until you really need something, sometimes they kind of just go out there and start running through. But I can promise you this, bless his heart, kind of panders to both sides and kind of talks out of both sides so that he could potentially be right at some point. Like, OU, there's not a need. Like, this, I think this team really does have a 1-0 mentality. This is Texas week. That's who we're playing. That's where our focus is in. But you're telling me that OU doesn't need this? Like, yeah, we've won 18 of the past 25. But you've had 2 embarrassing losses in the past 3 years. Because of injuries to the quarterback, right, to depleted, rosters. I promise you that guys who were on that field last year and guys who were on the field 3 years ago, like a Grayson Halton, guys, like, this team wants to go create an embarrassing loss that not only that they can hold over, but those things get remembered. They get remembered, Jay. And if we could go out there and hold them to 200 yards of offense and win this game 33-0, that's what this team's aiming for. I can promise you that. So the whole this team needs to win this game because their goal is to have a high playoff seed.
Yeah, that's the end goal. You want to go to the SEC championship game. You want to play for a high seed. You win the SEC, you guaranteed a top seed, which is good. And so, and to me, my thing with Pate, I enjoy his commentary because he gives you a logical reason for why he goes that direction, which for some it can be considered dancing on both sides. But as a national guy, you got to be able to appease every fan base because if you crap on every fan base, then ain't nobody going to want to watch you,
Nobody's
right?
going to watch it.
Yeah, you kind of got to I take that in consideration. I think for me was more of we know that this line improves throughout the game. My problem is we start slow. It's a very slow starting run line. The pass blocking is good. The run, just slow. Speaking of which, let's look at these advanced metrics, right? Shout out to my guy, Stats by Popo, a.k.a. Odesses, whoever he wants to be this week. I'm taking a gander at this. We're looking at Texas offense versus Oklahoma's defense. And this is the reason why I'm starting here. A lot of y'all understand, as if you know me well enough to know, I am a numbers dude. I'm a nerd. I like looking at these because these tell a lot of stories for me. First and foremost, remember, when you look at these numbers, Texas did play not one, not two, but 3 cupcakes. There's no reason, even when you play in Florida and Ohio State, that your third down offense should be 115th in the country. Coop, when I look at this,
no.
You've said it already. It 100% reminds me of what? Oklahoma 2024. Even against the bad teams, your offense could not figure out how to move the ball. And that's tough. Their strength of schedule's up there, but I mean, Sam Houston, who was the other 2 cupcakes that they played so far?
It'd be Sam Houston, UTEP.
UTEP, which that game was bad for them. And then San Jose State. UTEP was a bad game for them. That was a bad game for them. UTEP was a really bad game for them. That was the game that exposed everybody to there's really a problem in paradise. So when you look at the offense, red zone rate, 109th. Now that's not surprising. Keeping it a buck, this has been the kryptonite to Sarkisian since he's been there at Texas. Red zone, 20-20, fantastic. And they usually score on big plays. They can't score in the red zone to save their life. The pass play succession rate, meaning the play is successful to positive yards or first downs and stuff, 118th in the country, dog. And everyone keeps telling me that there's a good chance that Texas can win this game. I think there is a possibility Texas can win, and the possibility behind Texas winning is because they're a dog pinned in the back corner. So they're going to fight for their lives to at least get out of the corner. That doesn't mean that they can close it. The question is, can they close? And they're not healthy in key spots. You get a good hit on Arch, we're going to see that transfer kid from Troy, even though he looked pretty – his one pass was pretty nice again.
Caldwell, and I think he's got a couple big scampers. He's got a couple big scampers too.
Yeah, it makes me nervous. Not gonna lie.
I got 2 thoughts on the Texas offense. It's still early enough in the season, and I know it's not really getting early. I mean, we're 33% way through the season.
Yep.
Everybody's still waiting for them to wake up, because even in the games where they beat whoever, 55 to whatever. Even in those games, none of that stuff came easy. They needed the defense to give them great field position. They needed really, really bad defensive play for dudes to get these longer plays. I think there was one that Livingston had like an 84-yard. And so, it's the question is this offense going to wake up?
Yeah,
And
that's the question.
Wouldn't you say that this is probably the game where nobody sees it coming and it does? Like that can be true. But
Yeah.
Jay, in the great words of Maya Angelou, if someone keeps on trying to tell you who they are, maybe you should listen.
Yep. You know, you're 100% right there. And that's exactly what when you look at this is what they're telling you, right? Texas, 4.49 yards per rush, averaging 172 yards a game. But in the P4 ones, they weren't running very well. Heck, they got, 80-something yards against Florida? That was a low.
2-point-something yards per carry.
Yards per
with
carry.
Arch leading the
It
way.
was with Arch being their leading rusher at 37 yards, which is brutal. 37 yards for him. Everybody not named Arch ran for 15 yards on 11 carries.
I don't need the calculator to tell you, Jay, that ain't good.
At all. Arch was 15 for 37. He had to run. He was 15 for 37 and ran a 36-yard run. But granted, sacks count against the quarterback, which has always been the weirdest thing to me. But yeah, him being sacked the numerous times, I can definitely see him. He's going to be running. The goal for Brent Venables is making this dude run for his life. Like, as we all know, when Brent Venables has an offense that can keep his defense off the field for, what was the number you said, Coop? We've had how many less snaps than last year? I need to run those numbers again.
It's the first team defense is averaging. I mean, we are 20 snaps per game less than we were playing last year. So
20.
Our guys are
per
fresh.
20.
Our guys are fresh.
20 snaps. That's a lot of snaps to not have to play.
It is, and you look at the records of the teams that they've played, and keep in mind, Ohio State's 5-0. The records of the team that they played are 10-15. They're not been playing good teams, and now you come to. I mean, I don't even think it's arguably anymore. I think it's statistically the best defense in college football.
That's crazy. Yeah, 288 snaps so far this season. That just feels very low.
And
but it's because the offense is moving the ball.
And that's factoring in this, Jay, is we had second, third, and fourth string guys out there. I mean, you had Omarion Robinson out there against Kent State. You had Omarion Robinson out there against a couple of other teams. And that's something we weren't able to do last year or even the year before that when Gabriel was here in his second year, is you were in so many close games that you didn't get those deals. Keep in mind, too, you were able to, because they were a little dinged up, Dom Williams and Jaden Jackson, they got 2 weeks in a row off.
Yep. You don't get to have – you didn't have that luxury. You had to play everybody. And I've even mentioned this before, when you're looking at our defense. I mean, this is where you compare the two. Third down defensive rate number 1 in the country compared to them at 15. Like, I'll get the hard numbers and everything on the next video I make probably for Friday evening. But 5th in red zone defense rank. Like, 2nd in SP plus defense rank. 10th in defensive efficiency, which I'm surprised we're even at 10. And that's about where we were last year. We're going to be moving up as the season progressed. It's like last year it was Phil Steele said that we were holding teams like 80-something yards under their average. And that's what us playing all those snaps. 80-something yards under their average. We were holding teams. We were shutting down. And now you look at it, you're like, okay, they've shown us even more improvement, which I'm happy with. So I want to look at the offensive side. It's now 7 o'clock Central Time. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. We are about 10 minutes away from the availability report to drop. We're going to stay live and pull it up as soon as it happens. So while I wait and hit this refresh button numerous times, we're going to go ahead and look at the defensive numbers that we know our offense versus their defense. Now, I'm going to say this, though. Hope y'all understand. Texas defense is actually pretty solid overall. But don't think they're very healthy. And I think that they can be exposed, in which Florida kind of gave you a recipe of what to do. Lagway had dang near all day to throw the ball. And somehow Florida, who couldn't run, before this game was able to run. And Coop, you talked about it on the opposite side. They had 35 pressures in this game against Texas. Florida had 35 pressures all season long before that game. They got 70 pressures this season, and half of them came last week. We should be able to get that as well with no problem at the stadium.
And let me go over some stats here.
Give me them numbers. Give me them numbers. You know I like numbers. Give me them numbers.
DJ Lagway, last week, season high in passing yards.
Of course.
I believe it's Jaden Baugh, running back, season high in rushing yards.
Baugh's a beast. Yeah, Baugh's a beast.
Season high in rushing yards. Yeah.
Now.
Listen, this Texas defense has benefited from a lot of horrible quarterback play. And we just saw a guy was throwing for like 60 yards in games, throw for nearly 300. So, has this offense for Oklahoma been Sam Bradford, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield level? No, it has not. But I think this Texas defense is a lot of fool's gold. They have 11 sacks on the season. 11 sacks. I don't see a great defense. I see a statistically good defense, but this looks just about the same as what we saw, from Auburn. But Auburn's now maintained it through more Power 4 teams. Yeah,
they did. Auburn did solid against A&M and us. So yeah, no, actually they did very solid against A&M. That game was lost because of offensive play, 100%. I agree with you there, and I think this is what's fascinating to me about this Texas one is it does feel like this is going to be Kwiatkowski's going to have to take the DJ Durkin formula and hope it works this time around.
Yeah,
that's what he's going to have to hope. Because I know that Mateer watched that tape and was like, all right, I'm not going to let them do that stuff to me again. And I know that Beatonbow and the staff's like, we ain't going to let that happen again. Especially because we got to see the Florida tape of how they were able to run it down their throat. And that's what we're going to do. So, I mean, when you look at it, we don't have the highest rush rate. We're 600 yards rushing. We got less rushing yards than them, 337 rushing yards a game, not a lot. We don't run very well. Our success rate's 43, but their run success rate stopping it is only at 52 in the country. They're not that great at stopping the run when a team figured out that, I can just run straight at your interior dudes. Our stuff rate's low because, like I said, we are not the best running team right now. And my theory behind it, and it's no shade to who's there right now, but it's more so something that feels like kind of how things go. When Beatonbow has his guys and he's not dealing with a bunch of transfers, it feels like his lines play better. We've got all of these transfers, and it usually takes about a year or two with Beatonbow to get good. Unfortunately, the microwave system doesn't work with him unless you have a guy like Fasusi, who is already looking really darn good. But with that being said, looking at the way this is going, looking at these numbers, yeah, Texas is up there. They're solid. They're up there with us for the most part. That Ohio State game helped them a lot. And I say it helped them a lot because they went against Julian Saint's first time starting. So it makes them look a lot better than I think they actually are. I don't think they'd be that good against I don't think they'll be that good against Ohio State if they played them again. To me.
No. And, listen, where it really breaks down is you have guys like Trey Moore, you've got Anthony Hill, Michael Taft. These guys have not been able to clean up a lot of the stuff on defense, and I'm guessing that there was a lot of conservative play. I saw a deal about some of the quarterbacks that Texas had played, and some of these cats are some of the worst quarterbacks in the country. Now, I say on our offense, it's up to our offensive line. You can't do what you did last week. That offense was bad last week. It didn't look focused. It didn't look motivated. It looked like they thought we're just going to show up out here and it's Kent State and we should just bare minimum and go.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
And I think lots of this game really, when it breaks down, Jay, is going to be which offensive coordinator on either side of the ball, which offensive coordinator can scheme some stuff open, can look at what the other team does well and say, I'm going to find a crease. I'm going to find something there. Sark has had years now of being this great offensive coordinator. And a lot of us were clamoring, saying, well, hold on a second. If Arch Manning is so good, how'd he not keep Quinn on the sideline after he got healthy last year?
Yep.
And now you look at it and you go, well, hold on a second. Offensive line's bad. They are at the bottom of the barrel. If they have to bring in backups, it could get worse. We've got a good set of guys who are now healthy. We've got some options. But that starting lineup of Fasusi, Ozaida, Michaela, Fabici, and Simmons, those guys need to come out with an intention. And they also have the drive of, hey guys, if you lose sight of what you're doing and if you guys make a oops, you're getting the guy behind you drilled. And he's been busting his backside to be here. Show me that you're willing to do the same. Show me that you're willing to get out there and take it to another level. Because I don't think they're going against world beaters on the Texas defense. I just don't.
Me either. I think their defense is solid. Like you said, it reminds me of Auburn's. I think it's a solid defense. I don't think that it is. I don't think it's a world beater yet. Like I said, I think the Ohio State game makes them look a lot better.
Yeah.
Because Ohio State was a first-time quarterback, getting everything acclimated. It kind of felt like that's what they were doing. But, yeah, I don't think that.
Yeah, and I will say this is, if they can cause turnovers, that's the great equalizer. We saw it last year where our defense works its butt off, gets the ball back to the offense turns around, hands it right back. Now, that's not who we are this year. That's not anything close to who we are this year. But catching the ball by the wide receivers, right? Blocking the dude, taking care of your assignment on the offensive line. And then I would say the running backs. I think that we get a healthy dose of Ott and a healthy dose of Blaylock. Blaylock is going to – the only thing I want to see better out of Blaylock this week is – and I think Gabe mentioned it. I want to see a better chance of him – or I want to see him handling, change of pace a little bit better. You saw Ott made a lot of guys miss. I mean, he would stop, guys would fly by. You saw a lot of that from him. And that's going to – you're not going to get an angle where you're just going to blast past a lot of the linebackers in secondary, for Texas. You're going to need to do a change of pace. You're going to need to have a little bit difference there. And because I think if you play a B game on offense, you get an A game on defense, and then, Jay, we got to go to the special teams, and you continue to do what we've done on special teams.
Oh, goodness.
This is a 20-point game. But if you play a C- game on offense, you can't. Your margin of error disappears on defense. And last year we talked about it. Brent Venables over on the sideline saying, "Guys, we got to get a turnover here because we cannot win if we don't get a turnover and go score on defense." You can't tell your defense to play like that. You got to let them play a sound football.
All right, y'all ready? The initial report is in. Drum roll, please. Here it comes. Your initial report is this. John Mateer is listed as questionable with Keontez Lewis out, K. McIntyre, Jacob Sexton, Jake Taylor, and Troy Everett. Logan Howland is now doubtful, but you've got Keontez Lewis and John Mateer as both questionable. Doubtful C.J. Baxter, Parker Livingston, and Malik Muhammad are both probable. There you go. He's questionable, guys. Told you. He's going to show up as questionable in the first one.
That is still less people combined on both teams than Oklahoma State's the week after Tulsa.
Which is
I think
crazy.
They had like 17 guys on their injured list. But I mean, like I said, I didn't think if Doubtful was there, there's no chance he's playing. I don't think you can get away with that on the injury report.
Nope, you can't.
If it were, I would say let's just focus on Keontez first. I told his dad, dude's going to go down as one of the toughest SOBs to ever put on a Sooner uniform.
He really is.
For his one of them was Mateer's fault. The other one was the quarterback's fault. Hey, whoever's taking the snap, let's take care of Keontez. Dude just gets open. He just finds those areas in the zone coverage and gets himself open. And I think that, to my analogy, the Denver Broncos one with the wide receivers is we've done really, really good in running 5 wide or having, nobody in the backfield. We've done a really good job at it. And I think it's a great opportunity for this offense, whether it is Mateer or Hawkins, which at this point, I think you know where I stand on that, is getting 4 the wide receivers out there at once, or 3 wide receivers, running back, and Kanik out there, and saying, all right, you guys got a couple of good defensive backs. Do you got 5 good dudes in coverage? Because I would love to see, I've been asking this one since week 1, I would love to see getting Kanik or getting Blaylock out on a wheel route. Because we've seen some of the film and it's wide open quite often. And I just don't feel like Arbuckle said, yeah, let's dial that up.
Right.
But this makes me happy because this is like a little squirt of gasoline on the fire.
But this is what we expected, y'all. We expected the initial report to populate as questionable. Like, this is where we thought it was going to end up being. So this is perfect. He's playing in the game. I'm just telling y'all now, he is playing in the game. If he had showed up in here as doubtful, I would have said, nah, I think they're going to have him. I don't think he'll play. It could have progressed him to questionable on game day and then been able to like get him out there a little bit. But now that he's starting as questionable, he'll show up probable by Friday, and on game day he should show up as in. So, but having him and Keontez, like you said, having him and Keontez as questionable, I think Keontez is going to try to play too, which is crazy to me.
And listen, Keontez, CT scans were clean.
Everything was clear.
showing up, bouncing around on Sunday. Arbuckle said, he caught his breath when that happened, and they are addressing it. They're putting some padding around the stadium, so if that question comes up too. But yeah, at this point, this is why you play the game, and I can promise you, unless somebody keeps Keontez or Mateer off the field, they're playing.
Yep. It's going to be tough keeping him off the field too. That's going to be the hard part. Is this dude's not going to be one of those that he's not going to want to. There's a very good chance that this dude's gonna find a way to get on the field. Period. So yeah, I'm at 100% that he's gonna play too. I'm at 100% that there's no way he's not gonna play.
And I say again, they're not going to put him out there if there's a chance that a hit to his hand would re-injure that, as if where it wouldn't if he didn't have the injury. So he is playing in the same fashion as he's never been hurt.
Right.
That's what Mateer's going to run out there like. And
I agree with you on that.
Now you got Giovanni. Listen, this is about as healthy as you could, pray to be at this point in the season.
Hey, y'all remember people was losing their minds about the linemen that were on here? What was it, the Michigan game? No, it wasn't Michigan. The Auburn game. We had all them linemen on the list. Like most of the line was injured, and it kept, of course, trickling down, and everybody ended up playing. Well, a lot of people kept playing. Y'all noticed that we ain't got a whole bunch of linemen on there this time? You don't see Fasusi on there. Because remember, you have to disclose if they're dealing with some sort of ailment. You have to. The deceptiveness, we've already gotten in trouble once for being deceptive. So we need to, we got to rein that in. And so as you can see, ain't nothing here showing us that there's deception. You got Mateer's questionable. You got Keontae Lewis. They're really the only two that you're concerned about because you know they're going to play. Eli's going to play. So is Giovanni. It'd be nice to have Logan Howland back, but I think he remains doubtful. He ends up being upgraded probably to out. They're probably going to say, nah, we ain't going to play you. We're going to move some other ones. But, hey, Autry Dent's not on here no more. Isaiah Dennis is not on here no more. So that's a plus. Possibility that he can come out there and give us some snaps if needed. Yeah, Michael is not on here no more. Weiwu ain't on here no more. Like, look, we all the people that we were dealing with in the Auburn game, it looks like we're cleared up. So be excited for a change. Now, we'll wait and see what tomorrow's report looks like. But the key thing to understand is this one, we're good. How y'all feeling, Sooner Nation? Sound off in the comments. Want to hear y'all's thoughts. How y'all feeling about the fact that we look good on this injury report for a change? Because, yeah, I know a lot of y'all was concerned, but I'm not. Not no more, at least. Cool. We broke it down. We broke down the game, both sides of the ball, how we feel about it. I mean, what more is there to talk about at this point? Besides Bill Belichick about to quit his job.
I was about to say, let's take a quick run around because we got some good games, not only going on this weekend.
The SEC going to be fun this weekend. No lie.
There's some sifting that has some chances of happening. We get to see, if you don't mind, let's start, Jay, Missouri and Alabama. Brother,
I'm looking at this one, and as soon as I synced that, I was like, man. I know not one of y'all want to hear this. I know. Believe me. I know. I didn't want to hear it either. Think Missouri going to give him a problem, dog.
Ahmad Hardy he's a dude.
That dude's a monster, man. And he's the one player that I am like, oh, God, we got to see him too, don't we?
I have a feeling, though, Jay, that Alabama's going to you're not shutting him down. I don't think that they're going to shut him down. I think Ahmad Hardy is going to be approaching 100 yards by the end of the day.
Yep.
But I think that they're going to push Pribula to actually play some quarterback for once.
The good thing is that game is early. So that's like the early game, which also sucks for them because that game should be your night game. That's a nightcap game, personally.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But I think that, number one, Missouri has been hanging around us in the defensive stats category, and I don't think that they're going to be there as close next week when the stats drop on Sunday. But, yeah, I mean, this is a game where Missouri what can you do? Can you cover? Can Ty Simpson, that Missouri defense has been pretty stout. Ahmad Hardy's been able to run like crazy because they've had leads early and they've been able just to go at it. But, I mean, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Missouri's really only – I mean, they played Kansas, played South Carolina. And they played South Carolina. And I think that was really the week after Nussmeier got hurt. Or not Nussmeier, but Sellers got hurt. So, and he threw all over Missouri. So, I don't know. I think that this is one of those Alabama games to where you probably – have a pretty close halftime score, and then it kind of gets out of hand towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, the South Carolina game, a lot of us are down on South Carolina, so it's not like we think South Carolina is just, the greatest. So, yeah. But, yeah, they play in Kansas. Has been up and down. What is Kansas this season? I haven't even seen their
I don't know, but Missouri still hasn't left Missouri.
The state. This will be their last game in Missouri, then they start traveling. But, yeah, they ain't even left the state. They've had the perfect schedule. perfect schedule. It's like, wow.
Kansas,
but Kansas
so far
is
this year is 4-2.
Oh, okay, that's
4-2
not bad.
with losses to Cincinnati and Missouri.
Cincinnati's good. I watched
They got
Cincinnati play.
Yeah, they look really good. UCF, they beat them last week. So yeah, but I digress. So anything else there?
After that, let me jump into some more of the games. See, Washington State, Ole Miss, not too much. I want to see what Trinidad Chambliss looks like there. I'm upset that Arkansas, Tennessee is at the same time as us. I know a lot of y'all are probably thinking, dude, Jay, why do you care about this Arkansas game? Like, why would you care? Well, they just fired their coach. Every team after the coach get fired, remember, UCLA just beat Penn State at home after they fired their coach.
And Virginia
Tech won their game after they fired their coach. That is a thing. Players rally around the new coaches whenever their coach get fired. That's a very common thing. And Arkansas is a really good offense. Bobby Petrino's still there, and he fired the defensive guys. So there's going to be some changes on defense for them. I don't know if it's going to happen now or be effective now, but that intrigues me. Plus, there's another factor that goes into this, Coop. A lot of people don't get this. You ready? Tennessee has Alabama next week. Third Saturday in October is the following week. This is a perfect trap look-over game. I mentioned this to my guy at Tennessee. He kind of looked at me. He's like, we lost to them last year. I'm like, I know, you're right. Y'all had Nico, though. So this year, better offense and better setup, but at the same time. And even though Tennessee hasn't lost at Neyland since like 2021, shout out to them on that, they're going to lose to us when we come to town, but I digress. Having the third Saturday of October, the week after you play a team that fired their coach, they may sleepwalk their way through this one. I think Tennessee wins, but they could sleepwalk their way through it. Florida, Texas A&M is going to be interesting to see if they bounce back and continue what they did last year. And to answer the question, I saw that everybody's pointing out that ESPN Bet has OU as a favorite right now. Until a bigger board, actual big sports book, because ESPN Bet's newer. When a big sports book gives me that number, then I'll believe it. Everybody else is still 1.5. FanDuel, I just looked at FanDuel. Actually, I'm going to put some money on FanDuel. I'm actually going to put some money on FanDuel.
One.
Yeah. So
1 or 1.5 straight across the board still.
It's still 1.5. But basically what Vegas did is they took away the money line. That's basically what they did. Everybody took away the money line. So you can't get Oklahoma at plus money anymore because they knew that they're going to start losing their tail. That's why all the money's on Oklahoma and the line's going down. They have a fear that Oklahoma's probably going to win this game. But I'm curious about Florida in this A&M game. I'm going to find a place to watch it after ours at the fair because I wonder if Florida keeps it going. Look, Florida's defense is good.
Yes.
And we finally get to see Lagway the way that we was hoping to see him. Texas A&M has a decent at best offense.
Yes, very much.
So
if they can get it to the receivers, they've got a really bad red zone offense. They can move up and down the field with Craver and Bussey, and Concepcion, but Jay, I'm just saying, I don't see it. Again, Florida, we'll know by what, 5:00?
Mm-hmm.
We'll know.
We'll know. Georgia and Auburn plays each other. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, is it damning if OU goes out and wins by 15, 20 points for Florida before they even kick the ball off? No. That's needed. We need blowouts, right? We definitely need blowouts in that capacity. I don't think it's damning at all. Georgia plays Auburn on the road, Jordan-Hare at night. And since it's supposedly haunted at night or something like that, or cursed or something crazy, I don't know. But does that mean anything? I don't. Not to New Mexico.
Right. Auburn's defense is. I do think the SEC still has a whole bunch of teams with really solid defenses. And I think Auburn's is one of them. I'm curious to see how Jackson Arnold handles a Georgia defense after dealing with us and dealing with Texas A&M. Because everyone knows the blueprint. Because their line is so bad. The coach, freaking Hugh Freeze, said that they were checking dude's hearing. I'm like, who does that? Who says it out loud?
And I'll say this. Alabama did what they want against Georgia on that defense. That defense is no longer what we remember from 2 or 3 years ago. They've got a lot of talent, but it's all young talent, and they have not learned to play together yet.
Yeah, they're young. This is probably one of Kirby's younger rosters to me when you look at it, and they play like it. I think they're good. I just think that they're young, and it shows, right? Like I point that out about our offensive line last year. I point that about Texas's offensive line this year. Their line is young, and they haven't played together. It's going to take some time to gel, and it doesn't feel like they're at that point just yet. I think in 2 years, Georgia's going to be terrifying on defense if they keep all of this in place. But they should cook Auburn. It's crazy that Georgia's only a 3-point favorite, though.
Well, Jay, here's where I say is if they can if Jackson Arnold can go run for 100 some odd yards and throw for 150, something like that, and keep Georgia guessing which one is which, that's where they have the opportunity.
I agree.
Keep the Georgia offense on the sideline, make them rusty when they're coming off. But Jay, the overwhelming elephant in the room in that game is it's Jackson Arnold.
And you're right there, but this is where I will rebuttal. Tennessee showed you can throw that thing deep and convert. Because that's literally all Joey Aguilar was doing. He was stepping up, launching it. And then you see Chris Brazzell just catch it and go.
Still catching balls right now.
And he's still literally. I just saw him catch a touchdown 5 minutes ago. If Auburn can find a way to hike it, count to 2, and just throw it in the air to Cam Coleman, they probably would do the same. Because I know Georgia's going to be watching for that, but that doesn't mean that everybody else ain't going to be available, right? You still got Malcolm Simmons there who should be available to catch some passes as well. If Jackson just stops thinking and just throw it, anticipate where he's going to go and just throw it to the area, do timing routes. That's what bothers me about Hugh Freeze is like, how do you not have that ability, dog? This is what you're supposed to be known for. What we doing? And
he tried a lot of those tight formation with Cam Coleman and throw the ball on the outside where Jackson Arnold threw great. And again, Cortland Guillory got a little in his own head, I think, that game. But Hugh Freeze was doing that like the middle of the field.
Yeah.
On like 20-yard out routes. And it doesn't really work. That that end zone out route to the sideline, that doesn't work in the middle of the field. So you get some go balls. And also if you're Jackson Arnold and you can just hold on to the ball, I think that he can run for 100 yards plus. Do I think that they're going to win? No, I don't. I still think that Georgia is going to ultimately go in there and handle business.
Yeah, same. Lastly, in Georgia, like I said, they're 3.5-point favorites, meaning they'll be 9.5-point favorites, just like LSU is a 9.5-point favorite against South Carolina. This is a revenge game for South Carolina. They should win this game outright. I think South Carolina can win it outright because Nussmeier hurting. Nussmeier's hurting.
I think this is the first. No, I think this is also the first real test for the LSU defense. Sellers, keep on getting those two guys mixed. They don't look anything alike. But Sellers is going to put a lot of stress on them. He can throw the ball. He can run the ball. And we haven't really seen a defense line up against an offense line up against LSU and really just take it there. But again, you're looking at one hit, and it's his oblique. He's got the oblique. He's got the knee.
Yeah.
Jay, I don't feel like we're going to end up seeing Nussmeier and Norman at the end of the season. I don't understand. I don't know how he makes it all the way through.
I don't know how he makes it either. I think people are going to put stuff in his chest.
Their offensive line is bad, and you might get to see Dylan Edwards have himself a day.
Agreed. All right. Let me get out of here. I'm going to find me some food. Thank y'all for all pulling up as usual. Man, y'all be just showing us some love. We appreciate it. We've got some great stuff coming down the line over the next couple of weeks or months. So we just pray that the good fortunes keep coming our direction and we can give y'all some even more cool content. So thanks for pulling up. Hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Rate, review, give us 5 stars, wrap it up. Please check out our partners over there at Sleeper. Use our promo code UNFAIR. They're going to match you on your first deposit up to $100 at 100%. And if you just want to sign up and support your boys, go ahead and just get $20 for free. They're going to give you that, no deposit required, just by showing up. Use UNFAIR. For Coop, your boy Jay, we are out. We will see y'all Sunday, post Red River. Peace.